Remember when electric cars could barely make it to the grocery store? Well, those days are officially over. Today's EVs are crushing range records, with some models capable of driving over 500 miles on a single charge. Let's explore how electric vehicles evolved from range anxiety-inducing machines to long-distance champions, and reveal what's coming next in the EV revolution. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Why was range anxiety such a big deal in the first place? But first, let's recap what range anxiety is. Ever had that panic moment when your phone battery hits 20%? Well, imagine that feeling with your car. That's what we call range anxiety, the fancy term for that nagging fear that your electric car might run out of juice before you find a charging station. Back in 2010, the average electric car could only travel about 70 miles on a single charge. Imagine planning your entire day around whether your car could make it back home. No wonder 90% of potential buyers were worried about running out of power. Charging stations were about as common as phone booths are today, and early adopters needed nerves of steel to venture beyond their local neighborhood. Let's paint a picture of what EV life was like back then. You'd wake up, check your battery level, probably around 80% if you were lucky, and then start doing some serious math. Okay, I need to go to work 20 miles, then to the gym 5 miles, grocery shopping 3 miles, and back home 15 miles. Every single trip had to be calculated and planned like you were plotting a mission to Mars. And here's something most people don't know. Temperature played a huge role too. On really cold days, you could lose up to 40% of your range just from the battery being chilly. Imagine having to add check the weather forecast to your daily driving routine. A study from that time showed that 90% of potential EV buyers listed range anxiety as their top concern. And honestly, who could blame them? The infrastructure wasn't there, the technology was new, and nobody wanted to end up stranded on the side of the road with a dead battery. Here's something fascinating about human psychology and EVs. Studies have shown that our perception of safe driving range varies dramatically depending on where we live. If you live in a big city, you want charging stations pretty close together, about every 3 miles. But if you're out in the countryside, you're cool with them being twice that distance apart. Makes sense, right? City folks are used to having everything nearby. Here's the thing. Most people start getting nervous when their battery hits 30%. It's like that universal phone battery panic moment we all know too well. And if they've got less than 45 miles left to drive, that's when the real sweating begins. Then Tesla came along and changed everything. The Model S proved that electric cars could not only match gas vehicles in range, but actually surpass them in performance. Suddenly, EVs weren't just about being green, they were about being better. Think about this. While other EVs were struggling to hit 100 miles on a charge, the Model S was cruising past 250 miles. And speed? This thing could go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. That's supercar territory, folks. But here's what's really interesting. While Tesla was pushing the boundaries of what was possible, traditional automakers were taking notes. The competition sparked a range revolution that benefits every EV buyer today. BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, suddenly everyone was scrambling to catch up. Remember when Ferrari said they'd never go electric? Well, guess who's working on an electric supercar now? In 2010, the average EV range was about 70 miles. Tesla Model S, 265 miles. By 2015, other companies started catching up. Today, the latest Tesla Model S can go over 400 miles on a single charge. That's like driving from LA to San Francisco without stopping. But Tesla's real genius move? They built their own charging network. While other EV owners were hunting for rare charging stations, Tesla owners had access to a growing network of superchargers. And here's where it gets really good. All this competition has sparked what we like to call the range wars. Lucid Air, over 500 miles of range. Mercedes EQS, more than 500 miles. Even more affordable EVs like the Hyundai Ioniq 6 can now go over 300 miles on a charge. The best part? We're just getting started. Solid-state batteries are on the horizon, promising even more range and faster charging. Tesla's influence didn't just change the EV market, it completely transformed how we think about cars. But do you want to know what the good news is now? Today's electric cars can go way further than their 2010 ancestors. We're talking 200, 300, even 400 miles on a single charge. That's like driving from New York City to Boston and back, with room to spare for a few wrong turns. Fast forward to 2024 and the landscape has completely transformed. As we already mentioned, the average new EV can travel 217 miles on a single charge. That's more than triple the range from just a decade ago. But here's where it gets really exciting. You've got the new Mercedes EQS. This beautiful piece of engineering that can go, wait for it, 507 miles on a single charge. And charging? It's not the hassle it used to be. These days, charging stations are popping up everywhere. At grocery stores, malls, even your favorite coffee spots. But hold on to your hats, because the future looks even better. These clever scientists are working on something called solid-state batteries. These could let you drive over 620 miles. And the best part? No more long waits to charge. With the latest fast charging tech, you can get 200 miles of range in about the same time it takes to grab a coffee and use the restroom. Just 15 minutes. The numbers don't lie. Range anxiety is becoming range dominance. A recent survey showed that 85% of current EV owners have never run out of charge, and 95% say they would never go back to gas vehicles. Hey, if you enjoyed this video so far, hit subscribe now and like this video to never miss an update. Pretty amazing how far we've come, right? And this is just the beginning. The next generation of EVs will feature: imagine your car becoming a giant power bank on wheels. During a blackout? No problem. Your car can power your entire house for days. Some estimates suggest that a fully charged EV could power the average home for up to a week. A bi-directional charging. But what does this mean? Well, in simple terms, your car becomes a giant battery on wheels that can power your entire house. Movie night during a blackout? No problem. Need to keep your fridge running? Your car's got you covered. But wait, it gets even better. Remember how your phone can charge wirelessly? Well, imagine entire roads doing the same thing for your car. They're already testing these wireless charging roads in places like Sweden and Israel. Just cruise along and your battery charges while you drive. It's like having an invisible gas station under your wheels at all times. And speaking of charging, remember when we thought plugging in your car was revolutionary? The next wave of EVs will laugh at that idea. We're talking about cars that can charge themselves using the sun. Picture this: your car's entire body is covered in practically invisible solar panels. While you're stuck in traffic or parked at work, your car is literally soaking up free miles from the sun. It's like having a plant that photosynthesizes gasoline, except it's clean energy. Oh, and charging stations? They're about to get impossibly fast. We're talking about charging your car faster than you can fill up a gas tank. Seriously! But here's the absolute game changer. The holy grail of electric vehicles. Imagine jumping in your car in New York, driving all the way to Miami, and never once having to stop for a charge. We're talking about batteries that could last for over 1,000 miles. That's like driving across entire countries on a single charge. But here's what really gets us excited. The next generation of solid-state batteries, these aren't just an incremental improvement, they're a quantum leap forward. 2 to 3 times the energy density of current batteries, 10-minute charging times, longer lifespan, safer operation, less environmental impact. Several major manufacturers have announced solid-state battery vehicles coming between 2025 and 2028. When these hit the market, we're talking about potential ranges of over 1,000 miles on a single charge. Think about what this means for road trips. No more planning your route around charging stations, no more range anxiety, just you, the open road, and endless possibilities. You know what's really exciting though? All of this isn't some far-off dream, it's happening right now. In labs and test tracks around the world. The future of driving isn't just electric, it's absolutely electrifying. What's your take on EV range? Would a 500-mile range convince you to make the switch? Let us know in the comments below. Electric vehicles have evolved from range-limited city cars to long-distance champions in just over a decade. With charging networks expanding daily and battery technology advancing rapidly, range anxiety isn't just becoming obsolete, it's turning into range confidence. If you haven't seen our deep dive into battery technology evolution, check out our previous video, Breaking Down Battery Tech, where we explore the fascinating journey from early EV batteries to today's powerhouses. And there you have it. From anxiously watching battery meters to confidently planning cross-country road trips, EVs have come a long way. While range anxiety once defined the electric vehicle experience, we're now entering an era where EVs aren't just catching up to gas vehicles, they're starting to overtake them. Until next time, take care and we'll see you soon.